Hello, how are all you doing? Welcome back to my channel. So happy to see you. Thank you always for joining. And I always thank my new subscribers. Thank you for joining and subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting. I really appreciate it. So, the video today is Be Like the Eagle by the Galactic Federation of Light. So I'm going to start off with a poem, but before I do, I just want to show you, I bought this necklace. It's a copper necklace, EMF. So, you know, with the 5G going around, it does protect you. Protects you from all electronic devices, computers, cell phones, etc. So it might be something you want to look into. I just found it online and ordered it. This particular necklace was like 48 bucks. They do sell bracelets and all kinds of other things. So, you know, ask your higher self if that's something you need. So the poem or the poetic message is Be like an eagle. Eagles soar high above the ground, higher than any bird ever found. He's calling you to represent his truth of strength, courage, and clarity. Your guide to survive teaches you to see the bigger picture other than the ones you are shown, which makes you groan. Develop your powers of objectivity and strength in patience too, reminding you all is well, all is done, but patience is what's needed by you. Even though so much is alarming, as all will unfold in divine timing. In the meantime, just be. Trust your heart, trust your guides. Do not feel the need to run and hide. Spread your wings, soar to new heights. Like never before, as major change is knocking on your doors. So, you get the message. You know, I just want to tell you that people are either living in truth or they're living a lie. There's no other way to look at it. Mainstream media shows business as usual. I mean, if you spent a day just looking on the internet and reading everything, it's like Hollywood is still going, music is still going, football's getting all ready to start, schools and, you know, the masks and the coronavirus. And people who are living the lie are just waiting for all of this to pass, so things could go back to normal. But that's never, 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 never going to happen. So you can't save these people. You can't convince them to change. So don't spend your time and energy in trying to awaken people, because that's not your job in a sense. You awaken people all on your own by you being awake. What should concern you is yourself. We are all geared to save people from themselves, but that's not your problem. Parents have controlled their children. Parents in the past have told their children that, you know, you have to follow what I want you to follow. That's real old school for sure. But I don't know, you know, a lot of people are still old school. It doesn't really even matter. They like to control their children and tell them how things should be. And remember yourself when you were a child. You have to learn on your own. if your parents, the more your parents told you not to do something, the more you wanted to do it because it sparks your interest. So that's one thing when I was raising my children that my guides told me, don't even bring things up because then it's business as usual. Do you know, like when when I was divorced very young, I was married very young and then divorced. I was divorced at the age of 21 with a 2-year-old child. And I was still young. I still wanted to go out and date. And, people would say like, oh, you can't do this and you shouldn't date and you shouldn't bring men over to your house and blah, blah, blah. Because people make a big deal about it. And when you bring things up, then it lightens up their thoughts and then it becomes a big deal. So I never said anything and my children were never harmed from it. They never felt anything bad from it. They didn't think two things about it, actually. It was no big deal. So, you see, everyone came here to grow and to learn on their own. You can't force people to change or to think the way they think. And people will change when it's their time. Everything happens in divine timing. It was like, also, right out of high school, someone gave me a book, Edgar Cayce, and I looked at it, and at that time I thought to myself, why would I ever want to read this book? Didn't look interesting to me. And so I put it down. I didn't get rid of it though, but years later, I would say like maybe 3 or 4 years later, all of a sudden that book was important to me. And so I was willing to learn because I was ready to learn, if that makes sense. And to be honest, Edgar Cayce's book is what got me on the path, especially his, I don't remember the name of the book, but it was about his life and how he would fall asleep on his books and remember everything that was in his book because he never studied and he thought he wasn't very smart. Like a lot of us think that because that's what we're told. So think about those times that you didn't want to hear what other people were telling you. You just believe what you want to believe. And that's just the way it is for everybody. So you change people by you changing yourself. Because when you change, people around you change. The people you attract to you change. It all comes from your thoughts. And when you are the light, you walk outside and you spread light to others. They feel it. They pick it up. So you need to be the change that you want to see. And so what else can you do? Well, you spread rainbow light in the form of spheres every day over the planet. And that spreads love to everyone. And I watched a very interesting video. If you feel geared or it feels right to you to watch it, then I would watch it. It's called Reptilian Consciousness, The Great Awakening, and it's by Lori Ladd. She has a video. It's an hour long, and she actually also channels the Galactic Federation of Light. And we all have different roles, and her role is not the same as mine, or mine's not the same as hers. No two people have the same role. But she actually broke down in very simple terms about the reptilians. And I don't know about you, but I used to think like, how do the reptilians, like, do they walk on the planet and look like reptiles? They call them the Greys and et cetera, et cetera. And I always try to figure that one out. Maybe you do too. I don't even know. But um, the gist of the video is how the world started, how the reptilians came about, how Earth changed with that, but most importantly, that the cabal, the people that do all this evil stuff, have actually reptilian consciousness. It's deep. So they too believe they're doing the right thing. So this is why we don't judge anybody, and everybody has a role in life, and this happens to be their role. But the point is, every morning, I talked about this last week, that you spread rainbow light out of your body in the form of spheres over the planet. And those are coded also from the Galactics, and spreads love to those who need it, and they know where it should go. And now add to that, visualize light going to the consciousness, the reptilian consciousness. What I do is I spread light to all who hold the reptilian consciousness, is what I'm trying to say. And let me tell you, when I do that, my whole body lights up. And the chills that run through me, because I know it's working. And so this is what you need to do now also. It's just a reminder that we're just energy, we're not human, and we pass on energy to other people with our thoughts. So most of the time, you don't even need to talk. Anyway, it's also important for you to remember that you live in an illusion, that your reality is not real. And that everybody has a soul contract. So remember this. Number one, it's important for you to understand that life is an illusion. We all have soul contracts, and people choose to volunteer their lives to be part of some of these atrocities. And what everyone does is feel sorry for everyone. And I mean, I'm not trying to sound cold. I'm trying to get you to get above the way it appears, to be in a higher frame of mind and thought, and truly understand, like you understand that, well, when you're 6 years old, you go to school. No matter how much you hate school, you go to school every day, blah, 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 until you graduate, right? Well, I don't know if that even makes sense, but nobody wants to really go to school, and kids will cry and feel bad, and you don't take them out of school because they're crying and they don't want to go to school. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but it's that I think you forget. If you go back in history, how many evil people were on this planet? Evil is run rampant on this planet through all the people. And like I said, I've been watching these historical shows, and nothing has changed. In reality, with the people, there's still people who believe in some of these historical stuff about religion, and there's still people who believe in death, and that your life is only one life. I mean, but then there's all these other people like me, like you. What did you do in one of your lifetimes? Were you always a good person? Remember back in the day when, and I used to say the same thing, why is it that bad thing always happens to good people? Well, that's because it was their karma. Because what did they do at one time in their life? So Earth has only been about the wheel. You come to Earth. Well, this is after it went to hell. You come to Earth, you learn your lessons, and then you just keep creating more and more karma. You know, when I watch these shows where priests killed people, Vaticans were evil, men, you know, with their raping and all cutting people's heads off, and all the people in the crowd cheering them on and throwing rocks at everyone because they just listened to what the king said, which was most of the time a pure lie. So people just follow everybody, and everyone got hung up and got caught up and did all this stuff. And then witches were burned because they took potions from the planet that was given from God to heal people. So you were a witch and you burnt at the stake. I mean, I want you just to think about all of this stuff, because Earth has been about, dealing with your karma and learning your lessons. And if your challenges have been your lessons, and if you don't learn from your challenges, you just keep coming back and coming back and coming back and doing it over and over and over again. So these people have, volunteered themselves to be a child and be, disgustingly abused for their karmic situations. So people are homeless. But how do you know if some of these homeless people weren't kings and queens from a past, or, very rich people who stole money from other people, who spent money only on themselves and never gave it out to others or whatever? You don't know anybody's life. You don't know anyone's soul contract. So it's not up to you to force people to do things, to change people the way you think they should be. So that's pretty much my point. So who do you work on? You work on yourself. And you heal. And when you heal, you automatically heal everybody else, because your energy spreads out to everyone else. Now, you can walk down the street and be an angry, nasty person, and then you can spread that energy. And if you're an empath, you can walk by that person and you get zapped. And all of a sudden, you become depressed because you picked up their negative energy. Works both ways. Spread positive energy by you being positive, by you living in the love and the light, by you being strong and knowing that everything that's out there isn't even real. And so you don't fall into it, because it can trap you. And I'll tell you what, it's never trapped me before, but it has trapped me like last week. I mean, I started to read some negative stuff. Well, actually, I didn't read anything negative. It is negative. I read what's going on in the world, like football and the movie people and the stars and all this stuff that isn't even true. And it's like business as usual. Like, all the things that are going on behind the scenes are still not mainstream media. And then me, start to think, is it even real? I mean, it trapped me. Totally did. And so I caught myself, and it was a horrible day. I mean, it seemed to take me forever to release it. And this is why I'm always telling you, don't fall into it. Don't even read it, because it is so intense, that negative energy. Anyway, one time I happened to see a psychic, and she told me that, we all come here and choose our life. Because, I was telling her about a lot of problems that I had. And that's why she told me this. And she had said, we all come back and deal with karma. And she said, but you, Maxine, most people just choose one thing they want to take care of. But this particular life, you chose to take care of everything. So she goes, I would never, ever, ever want to be you. But you see, I guess, because I've been a warrior, I am a warrior, I must have sat on that cloud and go, I can handle it. I've done pretty well, actually, I think. Pat myself on the back. But no, it has not been easy. Everybody has issues, that's true. But in any case, it's just easier to see these people made a choice. You want to tap into your intuition more. You can play games with yourself. Like, you can, anytime you get a text message, you can try to guess who is it that's texting you before you read it. Play games with yourself like that. When you see people suffering, try to tap into maybe their soul. What is it that they're learning from this? If that's what you want to do. I mean, I particularly wouldn't have an interest in doing that, but you might. I mean, that's your choice. People are still going around asking other people, their opinions on, am I a starseed, or am I this, or do I do this, or do I do that, when the world wants you to do this on your own because you have that ability. So it's about trusting yourself, following yourself, healing yourself, knowing yourself. There's a good way to know yourself, and that's through astrology. I brought that up too before with the time passage app that you can put on your phone that's free. Put in your birth date, your time. You got to have your time, and read about yourself and learn more things about yourself. I learned 40 years ago that the only person that anyone needs to know more than anyone is themselves. And I did everything I possibly could to find out how I could learn more about myself. And I did it through numerology, through astrology, through psychics. So now, just do it on your own. You don't really need a psychic. But again, if you feel the need, ask your higher self to send you someone. Don't take it upon yourself to go searching for things. Always ask your higher self, your guides, whoever, to send you these people. They will. This is who you need to ask. Your higher self, not other people. Other people can guide you to teach you how to find your own answers. But if I gave everybody their answers, what are they learning from it? You see, it's about learning. And this is what you need to do. You remember, too, we're all just acting in a movie, playing different roles for our own soul growth. Because this is just a movie. It's not real. It's going to be real. Reality is when you leave the planet. People still stress over death because they still live the lie. They still believe that it's the end, and it's not the end. You can still communicate. And when we go to high frequency Earth, we will all be back together again. Just like when you die, you're with everyone on different frequency levels. Be the same thing when you go to high frequency Earth. So remember, you are powerful, you are strong, and you just plant truth seeds. So, for example, you get around someone who's not awake and they're sick, and you could just drop a truth bomb and say, do you know that you're powerful enough to heal yourself? That all you have to do is visualize your body as healed, or like get a picture of a really healthy lung if you have lung issues, and visualize your lung looking like that. And it will be like that if you visualize it every day. And then don't say anything after that. Because when you drop a bomb like that on somebody, what are they going to say? It's wrong? No. They might roll their eyes at you. They might think you're crazy, but they're not going to say anything. And you don't need to say anything else. Because remember, you're not there to convince them. You're only planting a seed. Always speak your truth, even around people who are not awake. Trust me, when I do that, especially with my family, I get verbally abused because they're my family. But so I've actually decided with them not to ever say anything, because family is a whole different ball game. They're not the same as everybody else that walks on the planet. I think you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, that's what you need to do. Try to get them to, not by trying to get it to seeing things your way, but just to say, like, I hate so-and-so because so-and-so does this or that. Well, did you tell them? Just speak your truth. And they'll just look at you. And if they ask you, what do you mean? Then you can explain it to them. But other than that, there's nothing else to say. So be like eagle. You are powerful. Soar through the world, and do not focus on anything negative. And in your mind, you know where you're headed. You are headed to heaven on earth. You are headed to paradise. And if you don't know about that, you can message me, you can email me, you can ask me anything you want. My email address is below the video, and I'm here for you. So, all of you have a great day, and remember, you are powerful, you are an eagle. Bye.